Welcome to Clearly, Georgia. I'm Deborah Morton with Clario Real Estate.
And I'm Rich Seglovich with Space in Town.
I'm John Anderson with Space in Town.
I'm Judy Jernigan with Sage and Grace Realty Group.
We're so glad you joined us today.
So my big thing, I love to play tennis, and I'm a member of a nonprofit tennis organization who focuses on spreading tennis to gay and lesbian, transgender youth to make sure that it's available, because that's a big thing here in Atlanta. We have a lot of tennis that happens. But the bigger part of that, being the part of that organization, not only doing that work, is that organization actually supports and raises funds all year long for lost and found youth. And that's a very near and dear charity to my heart. One of the reasons that I volunteer for the tennis organization. And this year we'll be donating a record amount. And Lost and Found Youth is a nonprofit organization that helps homeless LGBTQ kids who have been thrown out of their home at 16 years old. So they help with housing. As they get older, they help with job placement. They help with finding mentors and how to teach them skills, how to balance a checkbook, just basic things that they don't have to be able to become productive members of society. But the housing is a big part of it because there's a large, substantial amount of LGBT youth that end up homeless and on the street. So that's an organization that organization helps. So it's
fun when you're with this charity is near and dear to my heart, and then you've got bigger umbrella charity like I found with Rotary, and now I'm instead of touching one or two, I'm touching lots of them and organizing. I had a committee thing, and we fundraise year round for it, but the holidays is really when everything comes together.
Yeah,
it feels good.
Yeah, the holidays is when we have our holiday banquet for the tennis organization, and that's when we have the big check that we give to them.
Nice.
So we'll be doing that here in December.
Cool.
Here I was going to law school, going to become an attorney, and realizing in law school that the passion that I had, where I wanted to be more in civil rights and that type of law.
You were going to go broke.
That's what I realized. And so I was like, so the choice is, at least in my mind back then, it's either this or I go into corporate law where I have to work, 80 hours a week and kill myself. Surely there's some middle ground in between the two where I could find something I love.
And now you can work 100 hours a week, but at least get paid for it.
But my friend Robert, who hadn't gone to college, was over here killing it, and I'm like, why am I trying to get an advanced degree when there's already a career that I can see that I would love? So that's how I kind of fell into it, but it was an intentional decision in my 20s to do that instead of law. I know, Rich, this is a second career for you, right?
Fourth career. Fourth or fifth. Yeah, I was an interior designer years ago, and I worked with a pretty good small residential firm. We worked on Elton John's place here and lots of high-end residential stuff. And I was working on restaurants at the time. That was kind of my line. Yeah. And then I got out of that, and I started another business, but I was flipping houses at the same time. So I was doing a lot of my own transactions, and then John actually recommended that I get my license, and people had been saying, to me for years, you should get your real estate license, and I sort of resisted. And as soon as I did, I got very busy quickly, and I love it.
Real estate was an intentional move for me as well, because I had bought and sold properties and without, did my own thing for a while, and it worked out. And I really feel like I could help people at a higher level, and that motivated me immensely. Plus, I'm pretty much unemployable, is really what it comes down to. I can't work for anyone. There is that. Mm-hmm. Corporate world was never for me. I did well at it to a point until bureaucracy and stupidity was more than I could stand. So, I had to be self-employed, and real estate was the catalyst for it. And it's been a blessing, huge. You knew as soon as you started, you were good.
Right. Yeah. exactly.
Like some of us are wired to help people and are smart enough to read the contracts and understand human nature and pull it all together. So I feel like all 5 careers prior to this made me ready for this moment.
Yeah, I
where
agree.
Yeah, it's always interesting, especially when I talk to people who that wasn't their first choice, or they didn't start young. All of the experiences that you've had in these other fields all play in a lot of times into the type of real estate agent that you are. Just even though I didn't have a lot of corporate experience before getting into real estate, just having that little bit of experience in my first year of law school, I was totally comfortable with the negotiation part. That was really where I felt like coming out of the gates, I really excelled because of just the past history. And it sounds like both of you, the same sort of thing. Your prior
yeah, with a
careers.
background in hospitality and customer service, you cannot be in real estate and not have a heart to serve. Or I mean, you can, but you won't be good at it.
Right.
But a hospitality background is good. But Judy has just an amazing agent whose background is teaching. You know, like we're pulling people into real estate who have just enormous skills.
I think I know there are a lot of professions with transferable skills that make sense. So I had a background for 20 years in broadcasting and marketing, and so I got into real estate thinking, well, that's an easy transition. I love the staging and marketing and photography and helping people get their homes ready to list and sell, and I do love all of that. Come to find out, I like helping people buying homes too, because it's just so gratifying. But people who have had a previous career where they establish that a work ethic and know that a job is a job, you do still have to, with real estate, while we have a flexible schedule, and that's something that draws a lot of people to our industry, is that they think that they can set their own schedule, which you can, but you still do have to work a lot of hours. And I think people who have had previous careers and understand that to have a good income, you do have to put in the work.
Discipline.
Are the ones that are going to do well.
Flexible schedule. I think that's fun.
I know.
That means work all the time.
Well, and what it means is you're your own boss. You're really, everyone is your boss. Your buyers, your sellers, your co-op agents, your broker, your lenders. Everybody needs us all the time. So flexible schedule means, I have a really good dashboard in my car so I can talk all the time.
I know.
So I've heard our college is now offering a major in real estate. I haven't met a graduate yet, but I am very curious about what the college curriculum is.
UGA has a program now.
There's certainly enough material out there to create a 4-year curriculum.
Well, the thing is, a 2-week course is not enough. Maybe somewhere between a 4-year degree and a 2-week cram course, there we could find some middle ground so we could get people educated well enough.
There's just so much to learn.
I think it kind of touches on what we were talking about earlier, that you get your real estate license and then you start doing the work. And if you really think about it, in some ways, it does take 3 or 4 years before you're really a lot of times good at what you do and really understand everything that goes into it. So it's almost like, even though you don't have, you may not have gone to a 4-year degree college, you still did a 4-year degree.
And is it number of years or number of transactions? You have to be in it and do enough transactions to see the variety, because every day is different. So I don't know if it's like you need 4 years or do you need 100 transactions
Yeah.
to get to the point where, I mean.
I love seeing the trend right now. A lot of people are forming teams, as are we, forming groups of like-minded individuals, and it's a really great opportunity for people who maybe are younger, be it newly licensed, whether they've had a previous career or not, especially if they haven't, to have a supportive environment where they can be mentored and have the opportunity to keep learning, because there is so much to learn with every transaction.
I mean, that's always been my advice to friends that are getting into real estate, because when I started in real estate, the first thing I did is I joined a team. I was with that team for 6 months, And then a friend of mine, the friend that I was talking about earlier that got into real estate, asked me to come work on his team. So what I had promised myself is I would be on a team for at least 1 year before I did anything, and whether I'd stay on a team or not. And it was, it's a fast forward thing where I learned so much on that team. And then after that year, I was ready to start looking at forming my own team based on just the stuff that I had learned and where I had gotten to in my career. So I think joining a team, especially when you're a brand new agent, is going to just help you get there that much quicker, because otherwise you're reinventing the wheel. You can come learn from my mistakes. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Well, and the collaborative environment. So it's like one new agent can only do so many transactions, but when you're in an environment where everybody's doing, you're hearing, you're picking up, we're talking collaboratively about what works, what doesn't, what would you do? Because it's not black and white. So being in an environment where the newer agents are hearing the experienced agents talk about how they're navigating the real estate market is a big deal. And that level of mentorship, I did 2 years on a fantastic top team when I got into real estate. And I was already an adult professional. I had owned businesses. I knew how to operate in the business world, but what I needed was to learn how to operate in a real estate world. And being on a team did that for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got the benefit of working with John right away.
Right.
And
yeah.
Look how that worked out. Yes. I did a happy dance in the office the other day because one of our newer agents, I've been working, a younger agent who basically came out of college and doesn't have a lot of work or professional life experience. So we've been working hard on scripts, what to say, how to have a conversation that is intelligent and well-spoken and speaks to the buyer and seller's needs, not what he wants to say. He wants to sell a house.
Right.
That's not the conversation to have. So we have been working on this. And he sat on the phone and had the most glorious conversation with a seller, a prospective seller, older couple, been in their house 30 years. Mm. They were lost, they were stuck, and it warmed my heart to hear how well he did just having a two-way conversation. He wasn't selling them anything. He was asking pointed questions that helped them understand and to find out what he needed to know. You know, because you've trained people. When it all comes together, he hung up the phone with a listing appointment for a couple weeks from now. And I was like, yeah, you did it. And he was so embarrassed, but I was so excited because the light bulb went off. Yeah. And he made a friend and got their trust. So it was good.
It's definitely rewarding to see somebody that you've been helping, especially have that first closing. It's definitely rewarding.
And he's going to be able in turn to help them.
Okay, this is funny. So gets off the phone. Yay, you did it. Okay, now you need to send a thank you card. And he was like, okay. And he pulls out his phone like he's going to text. I was like, no. My God. And I mean, I was like, here's a thank you card. And he's like, write it? So it's a lost art. Yeah. Like these totally. Little nuances are lost. So I stepped him through, thank you for taking the time, and we get the thank you card. And he had never addressed an envelope before.
Oh my God.
If you're in your early 20s, you haven't. He didn't know how to address an envelope, where to put a stamp, or he said, do I go to the UPS store?
Oh my God.
Because they get things from Amazon every day, but don't send anything.
Oh my gosh.
You never needed to mail a letter.
Right. And I mean.
And who checks the mail anymore?
Yeah. When was the last time you wrote a letter?
And what's that circular thing on the wall with the two black arms? Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that funny? It was amazing. Hilarious.
Yeah.
And yes, I was brutal about it, but whatever. You got to be toughen up, thick skin in real estate.
Cruel to be kind.
Thanks so much for joining us. follow along, like and subscribe on YouTube, or follow along on your favorite podcast, wherever you listen. And we look forward to joining you next time.